The last 6 months have laid bare fundamental gaps and inequities within our societies and between them. As with climate change, those who have the least are impacted the most. That's why last spring, Canada worked with Prime Minister Andrew Holness and Secretary General Antonio Guterres to convene a high-level meeting to discuss how leaders around the world could work together to close these gaps and build a better, more equitable system that works for everyone. In May, we agreed to look at 6 urgent areas of action to mobilize financing for the response and the recovery. Over the course of the summer, our 6 working groups produced over 250 policy options. On September 8th, finance ministers gathered to discuss these options and the recommendations for the short, medium, and long term. The most promising ideas will be taken up within existing IMF and World Bank processes, as well as at the G7 and G20 leaders' summits later in the fall. Then, in December, we're going to have the opportunity to meet again to discuss the progress we've made. Because we understand that right now we have to fix urgent problems, but in the long run, we also have to fix the system so that it works for everyone. To eliminate this virus anywhere, we need to eliminate it everywhere. While scientists work around the clock to develop a vaccine, as governments, we have the responsibility to ensure it'll be distributed quickly and fairly around the world. On Friday, I announced that Canada will provide $440 million to the COVID-19 Vaccine Global Access Facility, including $220 million to the Advanced Market Commitment to help low and middle-income countries access vaccines. This is an important initiative, and I encourage other governments to join in as well. We need to work together, and not just on vaccines. Canada believes that a strong, coordinated response across the world and across sectors is essential. This pandemic has provided an opportunity for a reset. This is our chance to accelerate our pre-pandemic efforts to reimagine economic systems that actually address global challenges like extreme poverty, inequality, and climate change. Last week, our government committed to investing more in international development while supporting developing countries on their economic recoveries and resilience. And on that note, today, I can announce that Canada will invest $400 million more in humanitarian and development funding, which will go directly to trusted partners on the ground fighting COVID-19. Our government is committed to investing even more in the years to come. In addition, we will continue to advocate for extending the debt service suspension initiative. We will also work on ensuring the special needs of small island developing states and other vulnerable countries are taken into account. Building back better means getting support to the most vulnerable while maintaining our momentum on reaching the 2030 Agenda for Sustainable Development and the SDGs. Canada is here to listen and to help.
Are you concerned about a contested election result in the United States? And what are you doing to prepare for the potential international consequences of such a situation?
Canada is, of course, fully respectful of the processes underway in the United States. We will not be interfering or engaging in any way in their electoral processes, and that includes commenting on their electoral processes. We will, of course, continue to prepare for any outcomes and be there to stand up for Canadians, as we always have through these past years and before that. The role of the Canadian government is to be there to defend Canadian interests while working with elected leaders around the world, and we will continue to do that.
My question is about the COVAX program, the coronavirus vaccine sharing and accelerating program. You've all said it should be available to all, and yet the United States has not been part of it, although some members of the private sector in the United States are. Is there anything you have done as outreach to the United States to come back into the COVAX program? And how optimistic are you that the money will come in for it and distribution of a vaccine or many vaccines, once they're available, will be distributed fairly?
We understand how important it is to eradicate the virus at home and everywhere at the same time. That's why Canada's moved forward in a number of different ways to ensure that wherever and whenever a virus is developed, we make sure we're maximizing our chances to be able to obtain it. So a big chunk of that is through contributing close to $500 million to the COVAX facility, which works as in we are securing doses for Canada at the same time that we're paying for, and at the same time as we will be paying for an equal number of doses to be distributed to the developing world. That's the large functioning of it that allows for countries to both secure domestic capacity at a reasonable price, but also ensure that our initiative gets vaccines out to other countries as well who don't have the capacity to pay. At the same time, Canada has secured bilateral deals with many pharmaceutical companies and potential vaccines to double up on our chances to be able to access vaccines once one becomes available. But we know that participating internationally in ensuring vaccines for the developing world is incredibly important as we move forward, and which is why we're full-fledged supporters of the COVAX facility.